Okay, one of the things we wanted to talk about is that a lot of people that come to work for us, we really want our employees to be committed and really into us and like big fans. If you're not a big fan of Missionary Mall, now is probably the time for you to turn your heels and be like, bye-bye, because this is a family business. Our main directive is to help missionaries temporarily prepare for their missions, because if they can take their mind off their temporal needs, then they will be a better spiritual missionary, a better leader, a better teacher, a better servant of the Lord. And they only have a set amount of time where they have to be out in the field doing what they need to do. And if you have temporal problems on your mission, it can be so distracting, it can prevent you from doing the work. So, that's kind of our mission. So when it comes down to the big decisions, sometimes you don't even have time to think, okay, what's our policy on that? What's the rule on that? Especially when you're new. What you need to do is say, okay, what's going to help this missionary the most? What's going to help them? And that, use that to guide your decisions. And if you can come to us and say, I know I may not have done this right, or I may have broken the rules here by doing X, Y, or Z, but I did it because I really felt like this missionary needed it for this reason, and I was helping this missionary. Right. We're not going to get mad at you for that.
But by the same token, you can always grade like what you're doing. Like if you can legitimately say, what I'm doing right now is helping missionaries, especially during slow times, then we'll always be fine with that. But it's really hard to justify watching cat videos on YouTube as helping missionaries.
Or filling out your dating profile on LDSsingles.com.
Or Tinder.
No, Tinder.
Or
did they mention that at General Conference? That should be like the big red flag. Oh, maybe Tinder is bad.
Yeah. Anyway.
Tinder is bad.
But
okay, so back at the ranch. Since running out of
whatever, if whatever you're doing can legitimately be said, like I am helping missionaries, great, we are fine with that. So if you're Facebooking about Missionary Mall, or
positively
doing Google reviews, or or putting stuff away, or cleaning the store, or whatever,
always a good idea.
That's all helping missionaries. Anyway, just use your best judgment, and you'll hear that from us a lot.
Right.
Just use your best judgment.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to talk about too is why shop at Missionary Mall? Like what Sister Missionary Mall and Missionary Mall? What is it that we have? What is our competitive advantage? Why shop at Sister Missionary Mall instead of Mika Rose, for example, or Down East, or Nordstrom even? Why shop at Missionary Mall instead of CTR or Mr. Mac or anywhere else? What is it that we have to offer? So we kind of wanted to go down a list of some things with that.
So I'll start off with the 2-year guarantee, and this is only for the men's side. The reason why we don't offer the guarantee for the women's side is because their stuff changes every 3 or 4 months. So you can imagine, like, if a sister buys a skirt and then wears it out a year later, we're not going to have that same skirt. And not only are we not going to have that same skirt, it's not going to fit the same, because the styles change, the hems change, the blah blah blah.
And we used to guarantee back. I think we stopped doing the sister guarantee in like 2008.
It was just
and the big reason was it was very cumbersome. We rarely had anything wear out because skirts just don't wear like pants. Yeah. And the truth is, most of the requests we got were, I put on weight on my mission, I need a bigger skirt.
Yeah.
Or I melted this with the iron, which to me. Our margins are so much slimmer and our product is so much less expensive. I just couldn't justify it. It didn't make any sense.
But anyway, so for the elders, for the 2-year guarantee, the most important thing to tell customers is, first of all, it protects you. I think that most reasonable customers are not going to have a problem seeing that you're going to wear out a couple pair of pants. You might wreck a suit, like get a dog attacking you, or wreck into a fence while you're riding a bike, or
just wear through on the elbows and the knees.
Yeah, or wear out a pair of shoes.
Because you're a righteous missionary crying all the time.
Most missionaries are, you're $100 plus on your shoes, so you wear out 1 or 2 pair of shoes, a couple pair of pants, a couple of shirts, maybe shred a tie or something like that. I mean, you're easily into it $400 by the end of your mission. Like, I had all my shirts replaced. I had a bunch of socks replaced. So anyway, the 2-year guarantee saves customers money, and that's a big deal. We actually have a price comparison sheet that you should be handing out to every customer, telling them about, not only do we save you money up front because we're a little bit less expensive than everybody, but you also save money over the course of your mission. And then the second part of the 2-year guarantee is that we know what works for real missionaries. You can think of it as every single missionary we've ever outfitted is almost like a guinea pig for Missionary Mall.
If they're like R&D for us,
Right.
research
So,
and development.
For example, like one of our famous examples, we used to carry Hush Puppy shoes. That's the same brand that CTR carries currently. And in 1 year, we got back, I think it was like $82,000 worth of Hush Puppy shoes on the guarantee.
In 1 year.
We almost had, I think it was like a 90% wear out rate on the Hush Puppies. And by the way, the Hush Puppies are very similar to the more like business Echoes. Echo has a couple of lines that are more a hiking shoe, and those will last okay, but they're like $210. So anyway, the Hush Puppies cost us like $82,000 in a year on the 2-year guarantee, so we knew that they weren't lasting. CTR still sells them and still claims that they'll last the whole mission. Well, and we just know that they're not.
They don't. I mean, this is the thing too. In some missions too, like if you're in a car, your whole mission, you know, that's a little different situation than if you're pounding the pavement.
Well, but CTR might not be. You know, I don't think CTR is being malicious or lying. What I think is that they don't have the 2-year guarantee, so they just don't know. But we've gotten beat up on those shoes, and now we know what to look for in a shoe. Everything we carry, I mean, the suits, all the pockets are double stitched because we know that missionaries are really going to use those pockets to put keys in or coins or whatever. So we double stitch all the pockets. We do the seat liners. We do the expandable waist so you don't have to get alterations done on your mission. We use the poly wool blends because that's the most durable, best looking fabric over time. But everything that we
all
do
those features are based on
is refined by the guarantee. So that's really, really important. And we have customers sometimes that actually, by the end of the sale, they're like, yeah, we know the guarantee. Because every single item that we talk about with them, we're saying, and you're guaranteed. Like, you're guaranteed that it'll last. And we were taught what really works for missionaries because of the guarantee.
Excellent. Another competitive advantage that we have, and this one I think is more of a competitive advantage of the sister store, maybe even the men's store, but that's our alteration shop. We have a full complement of alterations women that are trained, they're talented. Many of them actually have, a couple of them have actually studied fashion design and structure, construction in college. A lot of them are moms, and so they're happy to come to work for us, you know, just part-time on an as-needed basis. But most alterations are finished within 2 to 3 days, and it's just really a great selling point, especially at the women's store, because most of the alterations are free, and clothing that is ready-made does not fit everybody. And our girls that work at the sister store, and also the guys at the men's store, they know how to pin and measure alterations and to make clothing work for you. And that's important because we've had people come in before, they're like, oh, I'm so hard to fit, I can't find anything. And we're like, oh, actually, we can make this work for you if you like this skirt. And they're like, oh, you can? Yeah, we can. This is what we just do, this and this and this. Like, oh, I love this, but I don't like the length. That's okay, we can shorten it for you.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. No women's stores anymore do full alterations shops anymore. We have that still.
Thing too. So according, like we were talking about, using your best judgment. If you have to throw in alterations, do it. Like if it's going to make or break the sale, to take in a jacket for free or take up some sleeves for free, that's fine. Do it. Just use your best judgment. I'd rather spend a couple bucks on paying the alterations ladies than lose a sale.
Yeah. And we have really great, another thing is too, when we do our hems, it's very popular to use kind of this clear, it's almost like a fishing line.
Well, it's not popular, it's just easier to do.
It's easier because it goes with every pair of pants.
You never have to change the thread out of the machine.
We don't use that kind of nylon fishing line type of thread. We use actual thread, and we will take the time to, we serge the edge of the pants. We don't just cut them off. We do quite a few things in our alterations that set us apart, and things that would be more costly in another operation, we do them here, and we offer it to our customers as part of the price of the suit.
Again, it's just part of the 2-year guarantee, because we don't want the missionary to get down into the MTC and have his hems fall out like 2 weeks into it. We get a bad reputation, and we don't want that. So we do a really bulletproof, like real thread hem that will last the whole mission and beyond. Matter of fact, it's a real pain to unpick.
Amen to that.
Anyway.
Another thing that we do, because of just the years we've been in business, targeting and selling principally to just missionaries, we have a whole wealth of knowledge and advice. Another thing that we have at our stores are recently returned missionaries. You don't have to be a missionary to work for us, but it makes a big difference, especially on the sales floor. And our recently returned staff, they know what works. Most of them took our stuff on their mission, and if they didn't, they know what they didn't like about what they took and wish they'd had our stuff on their mission. And so they're there to help and facilitate the needs of customers when they come in. That's a huge selling point, because a lot of missionaries are deer in the headlights when it comes to getting ready for their missions. There's so much you could do and so much you could say before you go that will make your mission just easier. I think another benefit, and maybe this is, you don't think this is a benefit, but I think it's nice that we're kind of a smaller company. We are a little mom and pop family business. That means we can implement changes quickly if we need to. We learn from our mistakes quickly because we're competing against the big guys. We were shopped by Walmart because they wanted to see what we were doing, to see if they could set up.
Well, not just that, but imagine, so Jenny and I make all the decisions, and we're married. Obviously, we talk about the business a ton, probably more than we should. But we're able to improve things and make things better quickly, whereas with CTR, you've got 12 or 13 different owners in different states, and they're all trying to like coordinate things and what are we going to carry. They all have different things that they want to do that they can't do or can do. So it's really hard to hold that together, and it's kind of the same thing with Mr. Mac.
Right.
Each store is independently owned by, some of them are Mac Christians and Sons, some of them aren't, like Steve Wynn owns the one down here.
And the one in America, there's one in American Fork.
Yeah, the one in American Fork. I think Jason might own that one. But anyway, but yeah, so it's nice to have the coordination that we can just make changes really quick. And then speaking of knowledge for the men's store, we do almost exclusively hire return missionaries or moms of missionaries that have sent missionaries out. So, and then again, with our 2-year guarantee, we've seen almost everything. Like, we know what is going on. We know what's wearing out.
And we've replaced things that we didn't know what was going on. It was just weird.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can tell now, like, oh yeah, this kid's not untying his shoes when he takes them on and puts them on.
Or this kid is really, really wearing his pants really low rise, and that's why it's wearing out here and all stuff.
Or we'll even get a picture of like some pants that are worn out a certain way, or the seam has come undone, and we'll just tell the mom, yeah, your son's gained some weight, and then she'll call the son and he'll confirm, like, yeah, I gained like 20 pounds. So I mean, we kind of know what's going on because we've seen pretty much everything. Super sleuths of mission gear. There you go.
I also, one of the other things I think we have a shipping department. Quite frankly, that's a blessing, and that's huge. CTR can't ship anything out of the store. They can't ship anything at Mr. Mac. We have a shipping department here. And not only do we have a shipping department, we do daily MTC deliveries. Daily. So, you know, we can move inventory. We can move goods. Bigger companies may have a shipping department somewhere away from their shops, but they don't actually ship from their shops. We have a shipper that ships every day from our shop.
Yep.
That's huge.
And if you ever get to do an MTC run, you'll see us dropping off like, 20 pieces or 15 pieces of clothing. You'll see Mr. Mac dropping off like 2, and then CTR dropping off like 1 thing every like week, or maybe 1 thing twice a week or something. So we're doing a ton of business.
Well, and I think one of the last things that I could mention, and I think this might apply a little bit more to the women's store because we do have quite a few more SKUs or inventory numbers, style variations, but we are actually a little independent shoe store. And nowadays, those are really hard to come by. There's very few places you can actually walk into a shoe store now, get your foot measured, discuss the needs of your feet, and find a shoe that works for you. There's very few of those left in the world. Very few. They're kind of going the way of the dodo bird. You have Zappos online and some of these other bigger companies, but we not only have our website, we have an actual physical store. And there's very few of those where the employees are actually trained in how to fit a shoe and trained to, not officially diagnose foot problems, but kind of give you an idea of why your foot feels the way it does in a shoe and what you need to have a better fit.